car didn't start, he started everybody's car. If their tires were lousy, he went out and he bought tires for people at the junkyard, and he would come back. All the girls in the school who couldn't get their tires repaired or changed, Steve would go to the junkyard, find good tires for them, bring them back, put them on their car. He was just a nice guy. Valentine's Day, he bought Valentines for every girl in the school, including the ugly and the fat ones. Every girl's box, he was kind to them. And I thought, he is such a nice person. He's just very kind to people. I was very attracted to that because a girl opens up to someone who is kind and sensitive and thinks of other people. And that is a way a lot of times to hook them emotionally. And some guys will use that to their advantage. If they feel maybe they're lacking in another area, they can actually try to build up on that weakness in females and use it without pure motives. All right? So they go from emotional oneness to this guy who has stroked them a whole lot. You're beautiful. Nobody understands you like I understand you. Nobody will take care of you. I will take care of you. I'm kind of like your big brother. And then they turn around and they've got fangs. They start out so simple, just with you unaware, girls. They're going to be this person for you. And then before you know it, they had these motives all planned out. It's emotional counterfeit oneness. And from that, they try to suck you into physical oneness. This is the plan of getting a girl involved where she is. Because a girl, a lot of times, who especially loves God, will not fall into physical oneness right away. That you go through the emotion, you talk about all these great things, what you want to do, and then after they get close to you, a girl will soften up and she will start thinking about you and meditating and letting her mind go and thinking about you as a marriage partner because her emotions are involved. Then comes I wonder what it'd be like if we got married. I wonder what our kids would look like. I wonder what would happen, if I kissed him. I wonder what would happen if we were, maybe he is the one. And from that physical oneness, they give in on one thing, and before they know, then yes, their lust is involved also. And that activates in them. But it doesn't originate there like it usually does for a male. It's activated, it's stimulated through first emotions. Then they will go into a committed relationship. Very unlikely, but possible, maybe they will become one spiritually. But usually when you start at the bottom down here, you don't ever get to the top because it's the opposite way. Very hard to push your way through and break through once you've already gone the wrong direction. God's view of courtship. He says, first of all, you should commit to the relationship. And that's what we're talking about when we say courtship. We're committing to whoever we choose could possibly be the person that I would think about as a life partner. So from the day one, when I am with this person, I am considering I could marry them. So my actions are going to be, that could be my wife in the future. So I am going to act accordingly so that I do the right thing, so that I say the right thing. And I am committed from the day one to this relationship. It is not a casual thing that I'm just doing for this week, but it's actually something that I want to think about the long range in the present day. And from this committed relationship, the first thing you will do is to see if you are compatible spiritually. And you work on a spiritual oneness. Now, I talked about all that with you with our BGR when I talked about the things you know before you even consider dating, the things you must know already. Remember I gave you that little form that you must have your educational goals down, your spiritual goals, your emotional goals, your financial goals. These types of things that you must understand who you are, self-awareness, before you drag someone else into the equation. If you don't know who you are, how can you even figure out if this person is right for you? Because you don't even understand yourself. So then you could end up with just anybody. Anybody could convince you if they do the right thing and they act the right way. You want to know who you are. So with that, when you do know those things, then you can see, is this person the type of person I could actually be one with in the spirit? that we're going the same direction, and together we'll be more powerful than we would be apart. If he's going to drag me down, then I already know that's not someone I can be one with. But the problem is, if you are a female and you've already gotten involved emotionally with a guy, I've known a girl who was a wonderful girl and was going to do so much for God and was helping us in so many areas, then got involved emotionally, a counterfeit emotional oneness with a guy, didn't tell anybody until it was so far-reaching that I'm sure it went from emotional to physical oneness. That one I was convinced, because when we did find out about it and we did talk to her, it was too late already. There was no listening. The ears were turned off. There was no way we're going back. She ended up marrying a boy who is not even a Christian, a Buddhist. How to get oneness? Will that ever happen? Just use your brain. You're a Christian, they're Buddhist. Will you ever be spiritually one? No. Now what happens when the children come? Are the children Buddhist? Are the children Christian? It's never going to happen as united. You're never going to be going the same direction. And I have to say, I do, and I have spent time counseling with people who are married that are in that predicament, and I would dare say, if given the chance, they would tell you, do not go that direction. Because when you lay down at night and you can't. The deepest area, your spiritual man, you can't even share. How to share that with somebody who doesn't believe what you believe? So it's like the deepest area of your heart that is what you're made of, and the part that God touches and shapes you for greatness, you can't even talk about. So when they lay down at night, they never can share that. And it's a very, very difficult position to be in. Next slide. The greatest attraction between a man and a woman, even greater than apparel, makeup, and hairstyle, is your shared conversation. This is why I want you to really consider about these two areas that we're talking about today. Emotional counterfeit oneness and spiritual counterfeit oneness. Because the most the greatest thing that will cause attraction sometimes between a man and a female is not how they look, how they dress, but it will be your conversation and how your conversation leads you. The deeper the conversation, the deeper the attraction. So in other words, if I just ask you, hey, what street do you live on? Where do you live? Oh, I live in Badoke. Okay. I'm not going to go out with that person next week and go in a park and make out with them. Oh, I found out you live in Badoke. Wow, I'm just so turned on now. It's not a very deep conversation. So obviously that's not going to do a whole lot for you. But if you're spending hours with this person, bearing your emotions, bearing your spiritual desires and the intimate things God has talked to you about, you are by just natural progression, you are going to get into a deep attraction with that person. Does it mean it's from God? Not necessarily. It can be your own conversation. Your shared conversation is a very powerful area of controlling your destiny. That's why I think God talks so much about the tongue. You know, it's not just gossiping. It can actually be good things you're talking about that can lay a trap for you when you are single and you're spending all your time with somebody and you are getting involved with them beyond the level of friendship that is acceptable for that type of relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's some levels of friendship that you can only go so far until you are maybe married to that person. Then you can go into another level that is acceptable. But in the level of friendship that you're at now, you just cannot go there. Because it is opening you up for an attraction that God never sanctioned. You are creating a monster that you've created. And how do you know sometimes that you created that? Is when that separation comes. If it's very painful for you, and it's very